Listen closely. What I'm about to tell you is going to sound strange, almost unbelievable, but it's real. And it's been hiding in plain sight since 1943. Every weekday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, there's a strange timing glitch. And for the past 6 months, I've been quietly extracting cash from it. $127 here, $243 there, sometimes $589. Not millions, not Lamborghinis, just steady, reliable cash when I need it. Like a broken ATM that spits out 20s if you know exactly when to kick it. Except this ATM has been broken the same way for 82 years. But most people never learn the only rule that matters. Timing is everything. Time decides who wins and who loses. Not effort, not intelligence, not even money. You can be the smartest person in the room. But if you act too early, you get nothing. If you act too late, the window is gone. Only those who move at the exact right time get paid. Most people never notice it. They're too busy, too distracted, too convinced the system is perfect. But it's not. Every Monday through Friday, at those exact moments, a door opens. The same door that's been opening since World War II, when everything was different, except this one thing. And only a few people alive know about it. Now you might be the next, if you can handle what I'm about to show you. I've tracked it now 117 times. It never fails, never changes, never stops, rain or shine, good days or bad days. Whether the world is in chaos or dead calm, the glitch doesn't care. 10:30 a.m. comes, it happens, same pattern, same window, same result. Like gravity, like the sunrise, like death and taxes, it just happens. I can't explain what it feels like to watch it happen. Like seeing a glitch in the Matrix, numbers moving when they shouldn't move, patterns appearing where there should be chaos. But here's where it gets weird. The glitch doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It shows up anyway, every time. Same precision, like clockwork that never breaks. And yet, almost nobody talks about it. Maybe that's because most people who find it think it's luck. It's too simple, too easy, too obvious. They've been taught that making money is hard, that nothing comes without struggle, that there's no such thing as free money. Their brain rejects it. This can't be real. Nothing works like this. There must be a catch. So they walk away. They go back to what's hard, what's complicated, what makes sense to them. They never test it, never track it, never realize they just walked past the one thing that could change everything. The system that could have paid their bills. The anomaly that could have set them free. Think about it. What would happen if everyone recognized the timing glitch? The whole thing would break. That's why you won't see this on TV. That's why no one talks about it. But here's the truth. This timing glitch has been running since 1943, through every war, every crash, every crisis, even the pandemic. It just keeps going. And in every era, a few people figure it out. They use it to stop living paycheck to paycheck. Take a real vacation without the credit card. Stop panicking when the car needs repairs. While everyone else, they have no idea. They have no idea there's a glitch this predictable, this reliable, this mechanical. I call it the daily cash clock. And tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. it strikes again, just like always. The only question is, will you be ready, or will you let it pass you by like everyone else? My name is Dan Miller, and I'm 38 years old. For 6 years, I worked nights at a packaging warehouse outside Toledo, loading boxes, watching the clock, and wondering if this was all life had for me. Then one day that all ended. I'd been fired. Not even a warning, just a gut punch email and 2 weeks of silence. Final paycheck barely covered rent on my 1-bedroom apartment, the one with the Murphy bed I never fold up, and the dented Honda Civic parked outside. Fridge was empty, except for mustard and half a lemon. I remember staring at my bank account, $11.42. That number burned into my brain like a curse, and I was 2 phone calls away from asking my sister if I could crash in her basement. That morning, I'll never forget it. I bought a gas station coffee with quarters and sat down at the public library, 3rd floor, far back corner, trying to stay warm, stay sane, and stay invisible. I wasn't researching some new opportunity. I wasn't trying to find the secret to anything. I was just killing time, trying not to fall apart. That's when I saw it. An old wall clock above the history section. Big brass frame, yellowed face, loud tick, except it wasn't ticking. The hands were stuck. Exactly at 10:30 a.m. I stared at it for a long moment. A memory surfaced. My Uncle Pete sitting at his kitchen table, tapping his watch. He used to say, almost offhand, time is the only thing that doesn't lie. At the time, I thought it was just one of his odd sayings, the kind of thing older men repeat without explaining. He'd been an air traffic controller. Time was his religion. Everything measured down to the second. But now, staring at that broken clock, frozen at 10:30, his words felt different. Like maybe he wasn't talking about punctuality. Maybe he was talking about something else. Right below the clock, taped to the wall, someone had pinned a scrap of notebook paper, torn edges, faded ink, just one line, written by hand. If you only knew the magnificence of 3, 6, and 9, you'd have a key to the universe. Nikola Tesla. I stared at that note for a long time. It felt like a riddle, a whisper from someone who knew something and left just enough behind for someone else to follow. So I followed. At first, I thought it was just a quote, some half-baked spiritual mumbo-jumbo, but something about it stuck in my head. 3, 6, 9. That night, I couldn't sleep. I went back the next day. Same seat, same clock. Took out my notebook and started digging. The library had access to databases most people never touch, archives buried in digital basements. I had nothing but time, so I went deep. I started simple, browsing Reddit, reading conspiracy theories, and getting lost in rabbit holes that led nowhere. And the deeper I went, the stranger it got. Did you know Nikola Tesla really did die in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker on January 7, 1943? Within hours, U.S. agents moved in, seized his papers, and locked them away in government custody. To this day, many believe the most important files never saw the light of day again. And Tesla really was obsessed with numbers. He was known to circle a building 3 times before entering. He repeated actions in sets of 3, kept strict numerical rituals, and even tied his dining habits to patterns of 3, 6, and 9. To him, these weren't just numbers. They were keys to the universe. And then there are the rhythms. Then I found references to ultradian rhythms in sleep research papers. That's when I went deeper. Scientific journals, neuroscience studies, research that's been public for decades, but nobody connects. I searched everything. 90-minute cycles, ultradian rhythms, biological clocks. Most of it was about sleep cycles. But then I found something interesting. Nathaniel Kleitman, the guy who discovered REM sleep, documented that humans have 90-minute alertness cycles during the day too. Not just when we sleep, all day long. Peak focus, then a dip, every 90 minutes. He called it the basic rest activity cycle. Your brain literally runs on a 90-minute timer. High performance for about 90 minutes. Then it needs to reset. Think about that. Every person, every brain, running on the same invisible clock. Then I found people talking about it online, deep in obscure forums, old message boards from the early 2000s, people who'd been tracking patterns for decades, comparing notes. They call it quarterly theory. They divide the entire day into 90-minute segments, 6 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30. And that's where it clicked. One man tracked it for 20 years. Every single day, they wrote, and always, at 10:30 sharp, something broke loose, like a hidden switch flipping on. Miss it, and it was gone. Another guy posted, it isn't random, it's fractal. The rhythm repeats. Day after day, across every scale, 90-minute cycles, and then right on cue, 10:30. I thought I was getting somewhere. I thought I was on the verge of a breakthrough. But days passed, and I realized I'd been at it for weeks, and I had nothing. No breakthrough, no cash, just pages of notes, and a growing sense I was losing my mind. I closed my notebook, shoved it in my backpack, and walked out into the cold. Standing on the sidewalk, staring at the sky, I whispered, what am I even doing? I had no plan, no job, no money, and now no answers. I told myself it was over, that the clock and Tesla quote were just coincidences, a cruel joke from the universe. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling my uncle's words were true. Time was trying to tell me something. And then, a few weeks later, everything changed. I was still broke, still desperate. Rent was due in 2 weeks, and I had nothing. So I did what anyone does when they're out of options. I started cleaning, thinking maybe I could sell something. Anything. Old electronics, books, whatever I could find in the apartment. Digging through stuff I hadn't touched in years, looking for anything worth $20. I was on my knees in the back of the hallway closet pulling out old boxes when I found it, taped shut, covered in dust. It was a box marked in my uncle's unmistakable handwriting, do not discard. My uncle wasn't the kind of man who wasted words. He'd been an air traffic controller for decades, the kind of job where precision meant lives. Before that, during World War II, he served as a codebreaker. The type of man who could pull meaning out of static, who could look at a string of nonsense numbers and tell you what the enemy would do next. Growing up, I remember him as quiet, meticulous, almost cold at times. He never bragged about his work. But if he told you something, you listened because you knew it wasn't opinion. It was fact. Inside the box were relics from his life as an air traffic controller. A cracked aviation headset, padding flaking off the sides, laminated frequency maps with neat block notations, dog-eared manuals stamped, restricted, corners curling, pages smelling of oil and dust, and at the bottom, wrapped in oilskin like it was meant to survive a flood, was a thick, leather-bound ledger. At first glance, it looked like time logs, grids of dates, hours, columns of numbers. But something jumped out immediately. One entry, 10:30 a.m., always boxed in red. My heart stopped. The same times from the broken clock, the same times from the 90-minute cycles. But here's what made my hands shake. Next to each time, my uncle had written something else. Instructions, specific actions, what to do during that window. At 10:30 a.m., not theory, not patterns, a system, 10:30 a.m., timing glitch. The flow distorts between 10:30 to 10:45. By 11, reality resets. Page after page of precise instructions. Like a pilot's checklist. Every move mapped out, and in the margins, different handwriting. Someone else's notes. Confirmed. Works in all conditions. Tested 1,847 times. 94% success rate. Do not share. System degrades with volume. Then I found the envelope. Sealed. My name on it. Inside, a single sheet of paper. Danny. If you're reading this, you're probably desperate. Good. Desperate people follow instructions. Rich people don't. The 90-minute cycle isn't the secret. Everyone will figure that out eventually. The secret is what happens after. The system resets. Old rules don't apply. New rules haven't started. It's a gap, a timing glitch. And if you know exactly what to do, you can take what falls through the cracks. I used this for 31 years. Paid for the house. Put your cousins through college. Never told anyone until now. The instructions are all here. Follow them exactly. No variations, no improvements, no creativity. Set your alarm for 10:28. Be ready at 10:30. Exit by 11. Start small. $100 to $300 per window. Don't get greedy. Greed breaks the system. One more thing. This has been running since 1943. We're not the first to find it. Won't be the last. But we're the only ones using it right now. Keep it that way. Uncle Pete. My hands were trembling. Not from fear, from possibility. I had the pattern. I had the instructions. I had the exact times. All I needed is to be ready. The next morning, I set my alarm for 10:28. At 10:30, I followed the instructions exactly. At 10:35, I was done. $247 in my account from nothing. Then the next day, I did it again. Same process. $189. $436 total. More than I'd made in a week at the warehouse. That was 6 months ago. Since then, I've done it 117 times. Never missed. Never failed. Never told anyone. Until I had to. I was a different man by then. No longer hunched desperately over my uncle's ledger, trying to decode his cryptic obsession with timing, but confident, calm, in rhythm. Every morning, I'd set my phone to an atomic clock, hit the window at 10:30 a.m. sharp, and watch the cash flow in. $127, $243, sometimes $589. By the end of the first month, my rent was cleared, my fridge was stocked, and a chunk of my credit card debt was gone. It felt like I'd cracked the code to a vault that wasn't supposed to exist, and I wasn't about to hand over the only map to buried treasure. Why would I? This was my lifeline, my way out. But then something happened that flipped everything upside down. It wasn't greed. It wasn't some sudden urge to play hero. It was a late-night knock on my apartment door. I opened it to find my neighbor, a single mom, Maria R., who worked 2 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on. She stood there, shaking, clutching a shut-off notice from the power company. Her eyes were red from crying. She didn't ask for money. She never would. She just needed $200 to keep the heat on for her kids. I barely knew her, just polite nods in the hallway. But in that moment, I saw myself 6 months earlier, desperate, cornered, staring at an empty bank account. I could have handed her some of my own gains. But something in me, maybe my uncle's voice, maybe his scribbled warning in the ledger, pushed me to do something insane. I decided to show her the glitch. The next morning at 10:15, I sat Maria down at my kitchen table. I showed her the ledger, walked her through the rules. Be ready at 10:28. Execute at 10:30 sharp. Out by 11 o'clock. Not a second later. She thought I'd lost my mind. You're telling me that every weekday, at exactly 10:30, there's a, what? A glitch in time? Not in time, I told her. In the system. The system that runs on time. Her hands shook as the clock ticked down. At 10:30 a.m., she tried it. Minutes later, $182 landed in her account. She stared at the screen, then at me, like I just performed a miracle. This is real. That night, her kids slept warm. The power company was paid, and Maria was never the same. Over the next few months, I brought in others. Each time, I chose carefully. People at their breaking point, people who wouldn't blab. 2 weeks later, Maria came back, this time with her sister, Lisa M. Lisa had just been evicted. 3 kids, no savings, no place to go. Please, Maria begged me. She doesn't need a handout. She needs a chance. I thought about my uncle's warning in the ledger. Do not share. System degrades with volume. But I also thought about another line he'd written in the margins. Time shares its secrets with those who share its gifts. So I taught Lisa. Her first day, $198. Second day, $343. By the end of the week, $1,247. Enough for a deposit on a new apartment. Next was Jim S., a mechanic 58 years old. His shop collapsed when the highway rerouted and killed his business. 27 years gone in 6 months. He was about to pawn his father's tools. I showed him the daily cash clock on a Tuesday. By Friday, he sent me this message. I don't know what kind of magic this is, but I just made $927 in 3 days. I was about to sell my dad's wrenches. Now I don't have to. I can barely find words. How is this possible? I didn't answer. Some things don't need words. Jim told me about Bill H., a retiree, 71 years old, living on $842 a month. He thought Google was a person, but desperation is a hell of a teacher. I drilled him like a sergeant. 10:28, 10:30, 10:46. Again. First attempt, too early. Fail. Second, too late. Fail. Third, next morning, $156. He wept. I haven't had $156 extra in 5 years. By the end of the month, Bill had pulled $1,788. He sent me a photo, prescription glasses on his face, fridge full of food. A note, first time I've bought name brand anything since 2019. Then came Karen M., a nurse, 19 years in the job, 2 years of double shifts, destroying her back to keep up with her daughter's medical bills. After her first week, she emailed me, I've never seen anything like this. The 10:30 glitch, it's real. In 7 days, I've made $1,134. I cried when I saw my account balance, not because of the money, but because for the first time in years, I could breathe. I could be a mom again, not just a bill-paying machine. Then there was Lauren S., 34, a high school teacher from Dayton, drowning in $73,000 of student loans, making just $31,000 a year, picking up extra admin shifts just to survive. After 30 days, she sent me this. I've made $5,187 in a month, more than 2 months of my teaching salary. I just made my first student loan payment that actually hit the principal. For 6 years, I've only been paying interest. I ugly cried in my car for 20 minutes. That one gutted me because I knew what she meant, and there were others. James A., a father from Akron, made $6,179 in 45 days. My son made varsity. I bought him gear. For the first time in years, I made it to his games. Linda P., a grandmother from Youngstown. I'm 61. Factory floors all my life. Made $3,742 in 2 months. Booked Disney with my grandkids. First vacation in 12 years. Marcus D., a driver from Detroit. $2,386 in 3 weeks. Paid off my truck. It's mine now. Nobody can take it. Nobody can repo it. It's mine. Different people, different struggles. Same lifeline. After 100 days, there were 27 of us. Together, we'd pulled over $278,479. Not millions, not sports cars, but enough. Enough for Maria to keep the heat on for her kids. Enough for Lisa to put down a deposit on a new apartment. Enough for Jim to hold onto his father's tools. Enough for Bill to buy glasses and fill a fridge. Enough for Karen to stop grinding herself into the ground. Enough for Lauren to finally chip away at a mountain of debt. Enough for James to suit up his son and make the games. Enough for Linda to take her grandkids on their first vacation. Enough for Marcus to pay off his truck and own it outright. 9 names here, 9 proofs, and behind them, 18 more. 27 lives changed at 10:30 sharp. The system held, untouched. No publicity, no exposure, because we knew the truth. Too many, and the glitch closes. The system adapts, the window slams shut. Now that you've made it this far, you know the truth. The 10:30 window is real. The daily cash clock exists. The timing glitch has been running since 1943. But here's the part most people can't wrap their heads around. It's not dozens of complicated steps. It's not hours glued to a screen. It's one glitch, one time, once a day. If you can show up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, you can do this. It's that simple. My uncle's ledger contained the pattern, but the specific instructions, the exact steps, the precise timing, the setup, took me months to decode and perfect. You could waste half a year trying to figure it out yourself, searching forums, testing theories, losing money on bad timing, missing it by seconds and watching opportunity vanish. Or you could skip all of that and use the exact perfected system I decoded. Let me ask you something. What would it be worth to know that once a day at the same time, you could step into a money window? What would it be worth to stop checking your bank balance with dread? To pay every bill the moment it arrives, without shuffling, juggling, or praying? To say yes when your kid asks for something, without doing mental math in your head? What would it be worth to wake up every morning knowing you only have to catch one simple moment at 10:30 a.m. and the rest of the day is yours? Really think about it. What's it worth to stop the 3 a.m. panic attacks about money? To stop dodging calls from creditors? To stop making excuses to friends about why you can't go out? To stop watching your spouse's face tighten with stress every time the subject of money comes up? What would you pay to never again have that conversation? The one where you have to tell your family, we can't afford it. What would you give to be the person who picks up the check at dinner without even glancing at your account? To be the one who helps when a friend is in trouble? To be the parent who never has to say, maybe next year? All from one window, one moment, every weekday. And tomorrow, at 10:30 a.m., it opens again. When I thought about releasing this, beyond the 27 people already using it, I asked them what they thought it was worth. Maria said $3,000. I made that much back in a few weeks. I'd have gladly paid it. Jim said $1,500 minimum. People spend more than that on a car repair that doesn't even last a month. Karen told me, this literally saved me. I was destroying my body with double shifts. Now I work normal hours and make more. It's priceless, Bill said. I'd have handed over my entire Social Security check, because this gave me something I hadn't had in years, dignity. But then I remembered my uncle's note in the margin. Tesla's numbers unlock everything. 3, 6, 9. Let the price reflect the pattern. Tesla believed 3, 6, and 9 weren't just numbers. They were keys. And when I saw the glitch strike at 10:30 a.m., right at the third quarter's break, I knew it wasn't coincidence. It was the pattern. The price had to match. $369. 3, 6, 9. The exact sequence Tesla obsessed over. That felt right. It honored the pattern, but then I found another line in the ledger, underlined 3 times. System limit. 369 per region. Beyond that, the glitch closes permanently. When I mapped the numbers, I finally understood. The system can only support 1,107 users total. 369 in Eastern, 369 in Central, 369 in Mountain/Pacific. And once a region hits that cap, it locks forever. No exceptions. This is built into the system itself. Here's where we are right now. Eastern region, 352 users already inside. Just 17 spots remain. Central region, 320 users. 49 spots remain. Mountain Pacific, 331 users. 38 spots remain. Already over 94% of spots are gone. At the current rate, everything could be locked down in the next 24 hours or less. And once it locks, that's it. The opportunity seals itself shut. In fact, by the next time the daily cash clock strikes 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, every last spot could be gone. And if the system is destined to lock forever once the cap is hit, then price shouldn't be the wall standing in your way. Not the rich, not the comfortable, not the ones with safety nets. This system is for the desperate ones. The ones digging through couch cushions for gas money. The ones choosing between electricity and groceries. The ones one paycheck away from disaster. So, I'm not charging $369. I reversed the Tesla sequence. Not $369. Not even $97. For the next 24 hours only, I'm offering lifetime access to the complete daily cash clock system for just $69. The two digits that define the exact moment the glitch strikes. The perfect balance. Why $69 makes this a no-brainer. Think about what $69 usually disappears on: 2 weeks of coffee runs, one dinner at a mid-range restaurant, half a tank of gas in today's economy, a single grocery trip if you're lucky, a streaming subscription you barely use, all money gone, nothing to show for it. But $69 for the daily cash clock? That's $69 that could return $150, $280, even $470 in a single day. That's $69 that could cover your rent next month. That's $69 that could wipe out a bill, chip away at your debt, or finally give you breathing room. Let me show you the math. The average daily cash clock user becomes about $182 richer per day at 10:30. $182 times 5 equals $911 per week. $911 times 4 equals $3,644 per month. $3,644 times 12 equals $43,728 per year. All from a one-time $69 investment. That's a 63,304% return. Find me a deal that does that. Find me a business that does that. Find me anything else on earth that does that. You won't, because nothing else is built on Tesla's sequence. Nothing else taps into the 90-minute cycle. Nothing else has been quietly running, without fail, since World War II. Here's exactly what you get for $69. The complete daily cash clock system. The step-by-step training is designed for all experience levels. So even if you're brand new, you'll be able to follow along with total confidence. Every part is explained clearly, making the entire process simple, stress-free, and easy to implement. 5 real video examples, fully explained. You'll see 5 real-world examples that show exactly how to apply the system from start to finish, all explained in plain English. Whether you're a visual learner or just want to see it in action, this is your shortcut to full confidence and clarity. Your private personal sandbox environment. Before you go live, you'll have access to private testing ground, the perfect place to test your understanding of the system and sharpen your skills. The safety protocols to avoid detection mess this up and you're locked out. The 2 tools that power the system. To use the system fully, you'll need 2 simple tools. Most people already have them, and if not, we'll show you exactly what they are, where to find them, and how to get set up in minutes. Plus 3 bonuses. Bonus number 1, the scaling blueprint. How to go from $100 to $500 per pull. Value, $197. Learn the exact scaling strategy that turns small daily wins into serious weekly momentum, without extra screen time, stress, or second guessing. This is the same framework used by users who quietly went from $100 targets to stacking 500 plus pulls and never looked back. Bonus number 2, the mindset playbook. The one trait that separates the winners from the wiped out. Value, $127. Forget talent. Forget intelligence. The real difference maker? Emotional control. In this mindset deep dive, you'll learn why humility outperforms hubris, and why the smartest people often struggle the most when it comes to consistent performance. Bonus number 3, the Atomic Sync Protocol. How to sync your phone to the official time source. Value, $45. Timing matters. And this guide shows you how to sync your phone or device with the world's most accurate atomic time reference. Total value of $369. And your investment today is just $69. You've seen the proof. You've seen the math. You know the glitch is real. The only thing standing between you and the daily cash clock is hesitation. The glitch doesn't care if you're tired, busy, or skeptical. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, this glitch will strike whether you're ready or not. If you hesitate now, you'll watch the moment slip away, and you'll never get it back. Click below right now and claim your spot before the system seals itself shut. Time doesn't lie, and neither do the numbers. Welcome to the Daily Cash Clock, Dan Miller. P.S. While you've been reading this, 3 more people have already claimed their spots. That leaves just 101 total across the country. By the time you decide, every last one could be gone. Don't risk it. P.P.S. A year from now, you'll either thank yourself for acting today or regret that you hesitated. And by then, costs will be higher, bills heavier, and the door permanently shut. Don't let future you carry that regret.